Martin Luther King Jr. said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." What are your life examples of this? After my mom died, I set a single goal to do something productive each day. For a while it was getting out of bed. Then it was brushing my hair. Then it was cooking something to eat. As each little thing graduated from my thing for the day to just habit, I would add a new thing. It took a while to be functional again. It really did feel like I was crawling when everyone else was running. This is a real tactic and works well. I always tell myself I have to do 2 things every day. Depending on the day, it could be just getting out of bed and feeding myself. On better days, it's getting some work done and doing dishes. Just committing to 2 things sounds simple, so it helps keep me to it. And sorry about your mom, I hope you're doing okay and continuing to graduate and doing the things. It's been a few years, and Prozac and therapy did wonders. I'll admit that COVID had me struggling lately again. Don't quit us. I relapsed after 7 years sober, and it's been a struggle, but the sun will shine on another day. Head up, chin up. Hell, head down, ass up if that's your thing. If I can't get out of bed, I draw on my wall. I name the birds outside my window something ridiculous. I check on the bowl of mulligan stew that's been in my fridge for 6 years. Find something weird. That's what really works. Not to sideline everything else you said, because of course I hope you're well and empathize with your struggle for sobriety and coping mechanisms and wish you all the catharsis in the world, but I would be very interested in hearing more about both your wall art and your 6-year-old mulligan stew. Sounds very r/multi interesting. Are you deliberately cultivating it? Photos? Reddit link. I am also a one-thing-er. I've struggled with depression for a while now, and sometimes life gets so overwhelming. I know that my house is a wreck and I've got a million things to do, but it's too much to even think about. I get so stressed and just want to give up and go back to bed. Last year I decided to do 1 thing a day. Then I moved to spending 30 minutes a day doing 1 thing. Next is 30 minutes twice a day doing 1 thing. My house is still a wreck and I still have a million things to do, but it's getting better. And somehow it takes the pressure off knowing that I only have to do 1 thing instead of all the things. I feel ya. It took me 3 months to fully clean my room, but now it only takes about 10 minutes a day to keep clean. Have you heard of executive dysfunction? I get it a lot in my depressive episodes, and as soon as I start looking for things that need doing, I see so many that I feel paralyzed even when I want desperately to do those things. One of my big motivators is to shock myself out of it by shouting, "Screw it, let's do it." Until I adrenaline myself up enough for a burst of energy. Blasting classical, Latin or metal music helps once I'm up and at it. Exercise. A couple months ago I was crawling, now I'm walking. Doubt I'll ever be flying, but at least I'm stronger than I was. That is awesome. Not going to lie, I was pretty sedentary in high school. Around 18 I started riding my bicycle every day, and after about a year I was riding about 100 miles a week. If you don't mind me asking, where do you ride for that long? How do you keep yourself from getting bored? Circles, man. Who cares how many trips around the block it takes, it's still exercise. I prefer my stationary bike inside, live in Ohio so it's cold as crap outside, but I love just riding the bike in circles. Outside is better, but inside I just see how far I can get in a couple episodes of TV. How many square miles is your living room? 100 miles per week, i.e. 107 equals 14.28 miles per day. Worst case scenario, you only make 1 circle. So 2 pi r equals 14.28 miles. Equals, 2 r equals d equals 4.54 miles. So 4.54 miles wide. Equals, 4.542 equals 20.61 square miles. Pardon? They said 20.61 square miles. Work and school was about 70 miles a week, and the rest was riding around town or to the beach. Someone who gets bored easily. Honestly, I'm never bored riding my bicycle. You're going to be so far before you know it. 3 years ago I stepped into the gym for the first time with nothing but some program I got off Reddit. I finished my 300th workout yesterday. I look night and day compared to that first session. If you still have that Reddit link, can I please have it? Thanks. My wife died June 2015. I lost my job the same moment she passed because I was her in-home caretaker for 3 years because she was in a persistent vegetative state. I got addicted to methamphetamines again after 22 years of sobriety. My service dog of 10 years died. I survived an attempted murder from 2 people with rebar and wound up with brain damage and a broken neck. I got evicted because I couldn't afford anymore to live in our town home. I walked away from 30 years of memories because I had nowhere to store anything. I spent 2.5 years homeless, living on the streets and in shelters, and the majority of everything that happens to me happened in 6 months. I finally got on Social Security for schizoaffective disorder that I got from using drugs after my wife died, and I finally got a home again back in September. The point is I got through it all because I kept moving forward. Holy crap, I can't even imagine going through what you did. Kudos for sticking it through. Do you have a new service dog? I'm getting one in spring, thank you. Hello. I am so sorry for everything you are going through. I just wanted to say that I own a company that helps crowdfund and raise money for service animals. It's called 4 Paws and a Cause. I would love to help you if the dog isn't paid for yet. Please message me so we can talk. I know the expenses of a SD and it's difficult to come up with a loan. I'm happy you are doing better though. Keep moving and soon you will have someone to walk with you. You effing rock. And I'm so sorry you've had to. Dude, I can't imagine the roller coaster you've been through. Hang in there, I hope nothing but the best for you. I thought I had it hard. Keep going, you can do it. My career. I feel like I'm flying now, but holy smokes, did I start off as a slow crawl though. Edit, I work at an IT company for everyone asking. What was your career in? Pilot. Started off looking for people's dropped contact lenses for them, later became a pilot. This is gold. Thanks for the laugh. Seriously, thank you. I've been crying almost nonstop for days. This comment made me laugh out loud. Aw, sorry to hear. Hope you feel better. Drug dealer. Or both. It's also true metaphorically for that career. You pay for expensive training, work for a couple years in a horrible CFI job. Then you work for a few more years in a crappy regional job. Then you get on with a major carrier and make 6-figure salary. Human cannonball. Yo, same. I entered the job market in 2008, a year before one of 2 banks headquartered there went bankrupt. I was able to build up so much experience in customer service and data entry, but it was a lot of slow moves before I finally all of a sudden got promoted into a salary position and doubled my income. Tripled it from the year previously where I'd been working a real bad job. Suddenly I'm in a position where there's upward momentum if I can just avoid effing my crap up. Good luck on not effing your crap up. I'm crawling right now. Got some hard news that the company I was planning on working for can't actually hire me because the people that were planning on leaving for graduate programs didn't actually make it in and are sticking around, so they no longer have a place for me. Also found out there might not be much funding for my research project, which I was hoping to finish and publish by the time I graduate. So now I'm on the hunt again, hoping I can find something that can lift me up and not leave me stuck. Good luck, dude, you got this. Just keep pushing forward, I believe in you. I took this question more personally, fears and things. I had an interview today and the interviewer alluded that I was on the top of the list. I remember, 19 years ago now, starting out, hating my high school job, thinking I was never going to find a job I liked. Great point. When I was 22, I lost my leg due to a suicide attempt, and becoming an amputee as a result of my own stupid actions was extremely difficult, but I decided I was going to keep living and really see what I could do with the time and resources I have. I always thought I was too stupid and ugly to do anything with my life, but once there wasn't much left to lose, I got my crap together, stopped being a victim, and now I'm 25, going to school, clean and sober, no friends or girlfriend or family really, but I'm content being alone with my thoughts, and I think my prosthetic looks pretty badass. Man, I thought you were going to say now I'm 40 and got my crap together, but 3 years is an amazing turnaround in circumstance. My hat off to you. My favorite anecdote is about the philosopher who became suicidal depressed when he concluded that there was no meaning to life or the universe, and wanted to end his own life. But then he realized that if there was no external meaning, it meant that life could mean anything he wanted it to mean, and immediately snapped out of his funk and went on with his life. And the lesson there is, a simple matter of perspective can make all the difference. And that doesn't mean that people can just magically cure their depression, but it does mean that the feeling of hopelessness and despair that feels all-consuming, it isn't forever. It feels like it, it tells you it is, but it's a liar. There is happiness and purpose inside you, inside all of us, and it's worth fighting for. Edit. This is a line from the show Altered Carbon, but it stuck with me. The only enemy is despair. It may sound cliché at first, but it is helpful because it reminds us that no matter how many struggles we are facing simultaneously, from within or without, these problems are not the problem. Because really, life is just an endless series of problems. That's all life is. We fight entropy until we die. Finding something to eat is a problem. Finding shelter is a problem. Finding employment is a problem. Requiring rest is a problem. All we do, all day, is solve problems. But that's life, and it can be invigorating. There's no end goal, we solve the problems for the thrill of doing. The real enemy in all of this is the despair that we cannot overcome those problems. That there is no point to overcoming our problems, that they are too much for us, that we are not worth the overcoming. We feel as though our problems are too many, and too large, and we retreat, we cower, we despair. But it's a simple mental trick, at the end of the day. Count as one, a mathematical trick for dealing with infinity. When faced with the vastness of infinity, we just point at it and say, that is one. And in doing so, we can now act on it. The brain gets overwhelmed at the number of obstacles, but you can simplify. You can crunch the numbers. It isn't many problems you face, but one problem, the despair that your problems will overwhelm you. Once you solve that, you simply do. You can take action with boldness and decisiveness, and what will be will be. The problems will be solved, or they will change. The problem is not the problems, it is your lack of motivation to deal with them. And this is when we begin to circle suicidal thoughts. In our despair at the magnitude and volume of our problems, we grow paralyzed, we feel helpless, and we feel as though self-annihilation is the only way to regain a measure of control. And that is despair. Only despair convinces you not to act, and in that way, it is the only real enemy we ever face. Once despair is overcome, there are only the problems to be solved. No matter how many, you take one down, you work it, you solve it, and you work another, until you are no more. That's close to my epiphany as well. I was like, well, I can't even kill myself correctly, so let's see what this life can be. Once you realize life is finite, you can freak out or be like, let's see how far we can go with this, and if I fail, well, I'm going to die anyway. Once you realize life is finite, you can freak out or be like, let's see how far we can go with this, and if I fail, well, I'm going to die anyway. This sentence just gave me a boost of motivation. Wish I had an award to give you. Wow. I just want to say this is really inspiring and I'm proud of you. Also, I'm imagining so many cool prosthetics in my head, laughing out loud. And you get to take your prosthesis off in front of your competition to show M you have a leg up on M. Sorry, couldn't resist. This joke is the if it doesn't scan it must be free joke in retail of the prosthetic world. Yeah, but don't forget that he's a foot short when compared to everyone else. I'll see myself out. How did your attempt make you lose a leg? I tried to overdose on heroin, and when I went out I fell on it in a way that cut off my circulation for about 12 hours. The doctors said there was no way I shouldn't have died, let alone have brain damage, but somehow I'm still here, equally brain damaged as before. Did you feel angry or relieved when you woke up still living? I was furious, enraged even at my failure. I was kind of in shock. I didn't really feel anything emotionally for like 3 weeks, but once it set and I was angry, I woke up for like the next year before I accepted it and started to move on. I hope you're at peace, my brother. You sound like an exceptional human being, and I am proud to be a member of the same species as you. Godspeed, weary traveler. You just accidentally called this man a trash heap. He may be a trash, but he's our trash. I was wondering how the hell you got that out of what he had said. I was about to downvote you, then read their username. Never mind, carry on. As you were. Thanks, Chris Traeger. That's awesome, bro, good for you. If you ever need someone to talk to, just shoot me a message. I rode my bike across the US. Most of it solo. In the middle of Missouri, I just had enough. I stopped on some guy's lawn and just cried. He came out and asked me what was up, and I explained how far I'd come, started in San Francisco, and that I was just done. He told me to ride into town, I think Springfield? Which was only 10 miles away, and take a few days off and rest. Which is what I did, because hey, one more day wouldn't matter, and the worst that would happen is that I'd pack it in and go home. Well, a day of rest seemed to be exactly what I needed. I spent a whole day, or most of it, anyway, in blessed air conditioning, ate all the food, drank all the water, and was more or less ready to go again. I took a few more one-day breaks between Missouri and Williamsburg, Virginia, which really helped me out. So yeah, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. That guy was a blessing. I love how he sports movie style had a random person encouraging him. To be fair, you are more likely to attract the attention of a random stranger if you park your bike on their front lawn and start crying out of the blue. I would also start talking to that person, lol. As a fellow Missourian, that guy sounds like a total sweetheart, and I'm glad he was able to brighten that experience for you. We claim him. Missouri loves company. I hate this. Take my upvote. Dehydration can do that. Not saying that was it. But also the need for carbs will do that. When your glycogen is depleted, it's not just physical, you have that deep feeling in your mind of just being done. A lack of water and carbs were likely exactly what he was feeling. Yup, the wall, thanks for reminding. That trip is daunting. I did Baltimore to San Francisco on a supported ride. By mid-Nevada I was ready to call it. Mid-Nevada will do that to a person regardless of starting point, end goal, or type of vehicle. Yeah, biking though, all of Kansas, some of Missouri will do that to you. Having lived there for 38 years and recently left, I'm laughing. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.